Greetings. Welcome to the Dr. J Vlog series. It is Tuesday, March 11th, 2025. And on Tuesdays, we consider music and the arts. And today's theme is that of recovering lost memories. The basic idea, have you ever had an idea, maybe a story that's come into your mind, maybe some poetry, maybe a musical phrase, or you start humming absent-mindedly to yourself, and you think, oh, well, that's pretty cool. I'd like to do so. I'd like to develop that further. I'm sure we've all had that experience. And it can be incredibly frustrating when we can't remember the next day or a week from then, what was it, that great idea that I had, or I had a really good joke. What was that? Of course, most of the time we tend to document these things. We'll write things down. These days we'll typically record things, especially on the musical side. I know that when myself, and certainly when I watch my son Caleb's CX Violet, creating music, he'll often be recording himself just because you don't want to lose the idea and you want to get some sense of what it sounds like, some feedback, etc. Well, when I was preparing my album, 62 since 62, and working with CX Violet, we're considering, the different songs, how they would be ordered, what the themes would be, and so forth. And in the back of my mind, I kept coming back to this song, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. What exactly was the song? I had this melody in my head, and I vaguely had some words coming back to me. So anyway, we proceeded with the album, doing some of the other songs, and then gradually, over the course of a couple of weeks, and this almost never happens, I was able to reconstruct a song from memory that I'd written probably over 20, maybe 25 years ago. And as I finally put it all together, I reconstructed the whole thing from scratch. And this is quite remarkable. I mean, most times I've had the lyrics and I've had chordal structures, I've had, old notes and things and demos of songs, that sort of thing. But this is one that I couldn't find anywhere. But I knew I'd written it, at least in my mind's eye, I'd written this song, and I knew I'd played it many, many years ago, but I couldn't remember it. Anyway, I finally put it all together, and I told CX Violet, actually, I want this song on the album. So it's one of my favorites. It's not a particularly complex or deep or difficult song, but it's one that I really quite like. And so I thought I'd do a bit of an analysis video today on it and share with you the music, the song, the lyrics, and a little bit of the creative process that went into this. Okay, so we're going to be looking into the song today titled A Place in My Heart. And I don't have a formal video. I just have a lyrics video, courtesy of my assistant, Kira Patterson. So let's dive in and have a listen. And as I say, I'll break it down at a couple of points to talk a little bit about the music and the lyrics, etc. So here we go. I'm going to change the view up real quick. All right, here it is.
There's a place in my heart. Can I wait for you there? Shall we meet tomorrow in the cool autumn air? Shall we wait for the sparrow to return with the spring? Shall we love each the other and risk everything? There's an eagle that's nesting on the edge of the sky, and it seems like she's resting in the blink of an eye. She will kill for her children, though they may not survive. She believes in their chances, the worth of their lives.
All right, so I'll jump in there. So you can hear the song, the melody. It's fairly straightforward, nothing particularly complex or unusual about it. And it's a love song. So the first verse is talking about, trying to express that, the imagery and the poetry of falling in love and the risk of falling in love, the uncertainty of surrounding that, the insecurity perhaps that we all have in that regard. And it's just basically, myself singing and playing the guitar. And CX Violet has added some bass guitar and some clapping. So we have a fairly simple rhythm going on there as well. And then the second verse introduces some aspects of nature, and in this case of the eagle and the nesting portion and the notion of establishing safety and security in that environment. And it's just a parallel process. It's not about falling in love, but it's about the kind of commitment that one has to make to survive, again, even in an era of uncertainty. But it's just a natural expression, almost an instinctual expression of what the eagle or any other species has to do in order to survive. The second verse also introduces some backing vocals as well, and both myself and CX Violet do backing vocals lightly, just to give the song a little bit more flavor. And then what we're going into now is the little solo, and I asked CX Violet to do a trumpet solo, and that's sort of that clarion call that applies to human beings and to all of nature. And so I wanted to have it. I wanted to be a strong and powerful and distinctive voice, and that's what you're going to hear. And then we'll go into the last verse, and I'll let it play out. Pretty straightforward, but here we go.
Yes, our lives are uncertain, and the answers unknown. Still, with every beginning, well, we surely have grown. And we chance that in loving, that we may not survive. We believe in our chances, the worth of our lives.
And there we have it. So that's actually, I think, the shortest song on the album. The second shortest. Well, anyway, you heard the trumpet solo, that clarion call that I mentioned. And then the last verse, of course, it brings the two ideas together. Yes, our lives are uncertain and the answer's unknown. Still, with every beginning, well, we surely have grown. And we chance that in loving that we may not survive, but we believe in our chances, the worth of our lives. So it's a reaffirmation. It's a willingness to, take the chance, take the plunge, as it were. And essentially saying that it's worth it, no matter what the consequences. I don't know that that's always true, of course. There can be some pretty adverse consequences depending upon what we end up doing with our lives and our partnerships and so forth. But most of the time, if we go in with that sort of optimism and that belief and that sort of expression of what we're here to do, what we're meant to do, and that is at some level or another, it's to be with others and to connect and to forge those relationships. But especially now I'm talking about that most intimate type of relationship. And it is a scary proposition, I think, for most of us. We don't know what the outcome's going to be long term. I don't think anybody walks up to the altar thinking, hey, this is great, we're getting married, or, this is my partner for the next 5 or 10 years. This is amazing. We like to always believe, of course, that there's eternal love in this connection. But of course, it doesn't always work out that way. So, so that's the idea behind the song. And again, musically, CX Violet added some strings, as I say, the clapping to give it that extra rhythmic tone. I didn't want to add drums to it because I didn't want to overwhelm the song. And the other cool thing about this little song is that it just happens to fit in so tightly and neatly within both thematically within the first side of the album. And I think I might have mentioned this before in a vlog, but you're only really afforded so many minutes per side on a vinyl album, because literally the cutting of the grooves and the quality declines if you get past a certain length of time on the album. So you have to keep your album lengths each side of a vinyl album down to maybe 20, 21, 22 minutes. And then once you get above 22 minutes or so, you really start worrying about the integrity of the recording. So this fit in neatly because it was it's only a 2.5 minute song, and I wanted 6 songs that were thematically tied together on the first side of the album. So it works in that sense too. Anyway, I hope you like it. It's just again, it's a short little ditty, but one that I quite liked. And the reason I like it too is because, as I say, it was one that was sort of lost in my memory, and I was able to recover. On this one occasion, I was able to recover the memory and the music and the lyrics. And actually, that is exactly what you heard there. That's exactly how I wrote it all those years ago. And now I've got it recorded on my album. And so I'm quite happy with that. I hope you like it as well. It's a sweet little song. And yeah, it's one of the 11 songs on 62 since 62. All right, thanks for listening, and we'll see you tomorrow.